All
Hi,
right.
friends and allies.
Hello.
Uh, this is a new style video for us. But there was a pretty massive update for MESBG today, and I feel like we couldn't let it pass by without talking about it.
Yeah, this the reflection and the updates around the new range and models that are going to Legacy and that are going to be removed, as well as some name changes that were pretty interesting. We
Mm-hmm.
thought was worth talking about, giving our perspective on. And for those who are newer to like a tabletop massive army game, war game, the whole idea of legacy might be new to you. Like, what is legacy? Is the answer is the question I'd like to answer, and that it's something that you see in other game systems. Like, it's something that's done in 40K. It's Age of Sigmar, but essentially, it's a recategorization of certain models so that they don't have a like active present profile in the newest edition. However, with there being updates to these profiles of models that we know and we play with, some are going to be active in the new edition and some are going to be moving to legacy, which means that they still have these new updated profiles, but they're going to be listed separately, which is a distinction that they use for models that are not going to be in production or as readily accessible to buy, and it's something that the Warhammer or Games Workshop, broader organization, like in terms of hosting MESBG tournaments, generally those more official tournaments will result in legacy models not being allowed.
Right.
But
So when you have like the World Championships over in Europe or Australia, wherever they have them, you're not going to see these legacy models at those tables. But
right.
for like local community events, if they allow them, you'll probably still see them there.
Yeah, and there's a discussion happening like right after we make this call in
Yeah.
the tournament organizer group. I think that the at least in the southeast, the way we're going to be doing it is it'll be at the TO's discretion to say whether or not they want to include legacy or not. Which maybe they've got some beef with some of these profiles that are being removed, but
Yeah.
yeah, that seems like um, a likely very contentious topic that some in the new year will be very angry about
Yeah.
if their
People have
armies are not
been
allowed.
people have been talking in the Discord like ever since.
It's tough.
It's
Yeah, it's a tough day
updated.
for some people.
Yeah. Well, there's some people in the Discord. They're saying like the vast majority of their armies have been legacied, which is like
That's crazy.
it's crazy and it sucks that they just drew that. But I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. It's easy for us to say as people with lots of armies that weren't impacted by this.
Yeah. Fair. Fair.
But no, it is tough for sure. Gone but not forgotten.
Yeah.
So before we get into why or what models were removed, if you haven't already seen the site, I wanted to voice some of the reasons that Games Workshop has provided, as well as our own, what we are inferring might be some of the reasons for it. So they list in the beginning when they're talking about the what is it, the Gondor King's Guard or something. What is the very first example model that
Oh,
they have? I
the
can't
Knight of
remember.
the White Tower.
Knight of the White Tower, yeah.
Yeah.
They say that, this is a unit that never appeared in the movies, never appeared in the books, and Minas Tirith already has a lot of profiles. So those were the big three reasons that they gave, was that, they wanted to be canonical in that the units appear in movies, they appear in books, and if an army already has too many choices, they wanted to cut that down, apparently.
Yeah, I
But
think
there
that
are
one
some
I feel like
inconsistencies.
I feel like that one weighs a lot for these, but I understand the sentiment of wanting it to be featured in the movies and books.
The thing is, that's not always the case with some of the actual models that were removed. Those are good face value examples, but the way they actually approach it feels like that was not really the driving factors behind what they did. Some other rationalizations are with, as I'm sure you all have seen, the Warren Edoras, Warren Rohan kind of, models that are going to be coming out with this new starter pack and all of the new standalone heroes and everything. They have a lot of new content coming in, so there is, a business rationalization for they're trying to reformat to make room for new releases that they're going to be having, and they just don't have the infrastructure to continue producing models that either might not be selling as well, or maybe they have some licensing restrictions that have popped up since they originally started making these models. An optimistic take could be that maybe some of these profiles are being removed because they want to make better versions of them.
Right.
That
I've heard that
like,
for a specific model.
yeah, that's very much a copium take, I think, but who knows. There was also some comments about like, well, Khand is like kind of like based in like Mongolian culture, so like maybe it was like they were trying to be more like sensitive to people's culture, which, you know, I don't know if Games Workshop would do that, but I like that some people believe that they would.
I like that thought as well. I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's really where they were at when they were making these decisions, but if we want to tack that on, or if they want to tack that on as reasons, then that's fine by me.
Yeah, potential brownie points
Yeah.
to Games Workshop for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, well, my long preamble aside, I think it's time we start talking about what happened to these models. Who's gone? What's going on?
Right. So we wake up today on this lovely Tuesday. It's a fucking Tuesday, right?
Yeah, and they release the Rohan Trader release yesterday?
Yeah, the guy who's literally a trader. They released his model yesterday, and then no one's expecting anything for like at least a week or so, and then just bam, here's what's not gonna be playable anymore.
I wake up and they say, "Sir, a second update has been released from Games Workshop."
Jeez. Oh my god.
Anyway.
But yeah, so it's this article where they basically kind of break down what we've been already saying. It's that there's new miniatures that they want to be coming out with. So some of the older ones are going to have to leave to make room, which I do get in theory. It's just, I guess they don't want to make these models anymore because there's going to be more that are being made. So they just don't even want to say that they're in the game, like, or at least they're in Legacies, so that like they won't be bothered by people who are like, why haven't we had a Knight of the White Tower made in 7 months?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so the statements from the design studio is this refresh concerns profiles rather than products. For example, we're removing the Knight of the White Tower. They're also saying, we've reviewed our factions and tried to boil them down to eras from the movies and books, which we want to focus on. Therefore, a few characters such as Band of Brass Took and Glowfimble, is that how you say that? Glowfimble?
Yeah.
Who've come from the books have moved to Legacies. So they're even stating here, they're like, yes, there are named people from the books that we're getting rid of. And I just find that interesting, just some of the choices that they've made. I can understand it for Band of Brass Took. Like, he's a cool model when it comes to the Hobbit armies, but also he's an inconvenient model to play with. I've never played with him, but I do play Hobbits, and to take him means that you can't take like almost any other named, like, you can't take any of the 4 Hobbits. You can't take you might not be able to take Bilbo. I genuinely can't remember.
The reason behind that is because isn't he the one who invents golf with Glowfimble?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, so he's like pre Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, so it's like he's in the mythos, but not really a part of an era I guess they want to focus on.
Yeah. Starting this section with the Fallen Realms is so cold, by the way.
I know,
it's because this is the announcement of like these armies are gone.
they're literally gone, but calling them the Fallen Realms is so funny.
It's so heavy. Oh my god.
But yeah, we start getting into the list of things, and basically immediately we see all of Farharad being taken out.
Yeah, Mahud gone.
A good amount of Serpent Horde, which is like, I purchased a Golden King like 2 weeks before they announced that Legacies was going to be a thing, and I was like, that motherfucker is going to be in Legacies, and I'm like not going to get to use him. And yeah, what do you know? He's in here.
He gone.
Like all of Kond is gone.
Actually, all of Kond.
Yeah,
is gone,
actually, all of it is gone.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad. I mean, I feel like Kond is the kind of army that was kind of hard to get a hold of, but the people who play Kond love playing Kond.
They have a very unique play style with the way that the chariots work.
Mm-hmm.
That I guess you can still experience a chariot with iron hills, but it's different.
That is so. Yeah, that's very different. But I get your point, and I agree. It is still achievable, but that's like one unit versus having like 3 or 4 in your army having a chariot. But,
exactly.
But yeah, so these are just like completely removed from sale, entering Legacies. They're like, Games Workshop really just said, I don't want to deal with these anymore. They're just done.
Yeah.
Then we're moving into some that I personally was a little shocked that they were getting rid of the like the unique ring wraiths.
Yeah.
I guess I mean I haven't spoiler, I haven't read the books. Roast me in the comments, I guess. But but I know that like Kamul is in the books. I think some of the other ones are named in the books. So like it's sad to me that like these are gonna be gone.
Yeah. They don't even have the decency to list them by name, and they just have the 3 packs listed.
Yes,
like,
exactly. They're yeah. They're like, I don't even remember what the fuck his name was, but he's gone.
say their names, coward.
Yeah, literally. But yeah,
I will say,
go ahead.
I'm sorry, I've never personally played against the Great Beast of Gorgoroth, but that is a cool model. Like pictured above, like
Yeah,
that is
literally this model.
Yeah, it's nuts looking. It's crazy.
Very cool, and like, I mean, I guess it's not like prominent in the movie, but it is literally in the movie.
It is. It's one of the things that's pulling Grond in the front.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
but I mean, have you? Like a testament to me having never played or seen one. Have you seen one in person?
In person, no. The only person that I've seen play it is like Conquest Creations.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, they're out there, but
Yeah.
they probably haven't been in production for years anyway, and like that's kind of, this is a good example of like, it's probably more inconvenient to continue printing a very small number of these than it would be to focus their resources on developing a new range.
Yes.
So
I completely agree
Yeah.
with that. It's one of the ones where it's like, it brings a uniqueness to an army or a game, but I understand why they wouldn't want to keep printing it. It makes sense. Right. I know that there are some people who are upset that like Morgul Stalkers are gone, Orc Trackers. I also have never played with or against those. It's kind of hard for me to talk to those, but
I think it's cool. Sorry, no, you go.
I'm gonna change the subject a little bit, so you go.
I was just gonna say for the Morgul Knights. Being changed to Black Numenorians. I like that they're introducing the term Black Numenorian, and my copium is like a new subsection where they introduce more Black Numenorian groups.
They really might. Well, they could. I don't know. That's actually what I was about to get into, is that we have these that are being like removed from sale, entering Legacies, but we also have these ones that are being renamed or repackaged, and I think that that's an interesting distinction, because they're things that they either want to reuse the models for, or they are like really intent on having those kinds of models in here but want to change the names, and that could also imply that they're changing the factions and like how they work specifically. They could bring in, I mean, I don't know if there are any named Black Numenorians, but I feel like that would be kind of cool to bring in and have this whole other section of Mordor.
That would be cool.
Having Shagrat removed from the game, just like point blank period, I know is going to upset one person specifically in our group.
So I'm wondering, because it has parentheses around War Leader, I'm wondering if it's just removing that specific profile.
Oh, okay.
of Shagrat versus getting rid of him entirely.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, I think we'll have to look deeper into that. But again, maybe it's copium. But
Maybe. I don't know.
perhaps he'll still be there.
I didn't realize there was a different distinction, but I guess we'll just have to see. Castellan's being removed sucks. I love playing Necromancer, and I think that they make for some good point filling for playing the Necromancer list, because with them being like 75 points, it's tough when you're doing specific point values to get. Right. You'll be like at a 50-point deficit just because you can't fill out those numbers. And Castellan's being 40 with a 5-point Wargle Blade is like perfect to fill those gaps.
Right. Does make it more thematic though, which kind of aligns with
with how they're feeling about changing up the game, which I get and I understand. It's just I'm wondering if they're going to try to fill that with something else, or if it's going to just kind of be a hole.
Yeah. You could proxy them as Black Numenorians.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I could.
Look at that.
There we go.
Glass half full. That's how we're approaching this video. Is like, it's not that bad.
It's not terrible. It could be worse.
We've seen so many like people acting like this is their 9/11. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's pretty bad.
Right. Yeah, but I'm optimistic.
Yeah. Something else. We're getting to Thranduil on horse. Something else that is mentioned up here that I wanted to talk about was, additionally, some characters once had access to shields, horses, and so on, but we never sold a model with those options, which have now been removed from the game. So, like, Thranduil, I don't know if Games Workshop ever officially they did officially put him on a horse.
They put him on an elk.
I know, but I thought there was an old model of him on a horse.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe I'm just thinking of a Legolas model. Maybe. Regardless, that makes me now think like, man, Gil-galad and Elendil are like never getting horses.
They're never getting horses.
Which is so sad, because they're really good heroes, don't get me wrong. But putting them on a horse makes them like devastating. Like makes them so good.
If a hero is over 150 points, they should be allowed to have a horse.
I completely agree with you.
Like, just out of principle.
Yeah.
Like, God forbid this thousands of year old elf also knows how to ride a horse. Right?
Truly. I don't know. It just made me sad seeing that. I was like, man, never gonna get that model. Now we're moving into you more specifically with these Isengard removals.
Yes. I will say most of it is Dunland. And
yes.
The reason behind Dunland being fully removed, which is funny because the narrative I've been spewing is like, wow, it's a good time to be a Dunland player. It's a good time to be a new Dunland player.
Yes.
Old Dunland, you're
yeah.
getting wiped.
Yeah, rough.
So that is tough. I'm sure you can proxy these guys. Like I've heard people talk about proxying their old like Dunlanding group as like Karn Doom.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that would work well.
Yeah, so there's definitely an upside there, but they're making way for the new Dunland that's going to appear in the starter box with all the new heroes and stuff. So it makes sense.
Yeah, was like Frida and Gorolf like Games Workshop invented?
I don't know.
'Cause I know that the Oathmaker is like a literal in the movie character.
Yeah.
And I thought that Thryden was also like a named person, but
he might have been. My
boy
Malher's getting done dirty. Sorry, you keep going.
No, you're good. I was just
my ADHD's kicking in.
It's totally fine. I was thinking like it's weird to me that they're removing this era of Dunland completely. They do want to focus on eras, and I guess that's them saying like we really only care about Dunland in the War of the Rohirrim section. But I don't know, I just find it odd that they're removing them from the main army book, because they are heavily they're in the second movie like a lot.
It's like the Wildmen are and the Oathmaker are, but they don't really talk about like the true like Dunland warriors with like the armor and stuff. They aren't really shown in movies, but they are in the books. I mean, there's an argument to be made that
For either way.
they could be retained. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway,
Malher.
Malher
is
is
in both.
yeah. Malher's a weird one. That shocked me because
Yeah.
Malher is such a good like midpoint hero for
Oh, yeah.
Isengard.
Yeah, I mean with 3 attacks and the. Am I right? Yeah, I think he's 3 attacks, 3 might, and he's like 60 points, and he has the 8-inch movement, and he can have the warband with
8-inch
the
movement.
8-inch Urkai Marauders. Like that's really cool ad. I'm sad to see him go, but you know, and it's weird because like Vrasku is a Games Workshop profile, like
Right.
that is one that they created, but Malher is not only in the book, he's in the movie, and he, you know, provides a unique function to like your base Isengard and some of the legendary legions. So it is sad to see him go. But
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. He helps make Isengard like the versatile army that it is, because it really gives you that, like having a whole warband of 8-inch movement like fully changes how you play Isengard. I think. I don't,
100%. And they're cheap. It's like
Yeah.
10 points for 8-inch movement, dudes. Like that's nice.
it's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vrasku, sad, but I guess I kind of get it. Feral Urukai, I don't think I've ever seen a Feral Urukai on a board.
Never seen him.
At all.
Never seen him.
So
Nope.
like, I've never seen them available to be sold. I've never seen anyone play them. So like, that's one where I'm reading this list and I'm like, yeah, okay, I get that.
Yeah. My boy.
Now
Look
your
how they
boy.
massacred my boy.
They slaughtered your boy. Literally, we're doing a tournament in like a week and a half, and Ian has finally put Grima on a horse and is using him in a list.
It is
and-
the only time I'll be able to do it.
Literally
looks
the
like.
only time. It's like, God
Get
damn
it,
it.
though. Like,
I guess.
get it.
His-
He can slink around more subtly if he's on foot
Mhm.
in like the horde of dudes. Like
Yeah.
it's okay. I get it.
It's fine.
He's dirty on horse.
His ability is very good. It's very, very. It's like one of the best, like, debuffs in the game.
I love it.
So like, having a horse-sized base and 10-inch movement is a lot. So I get it. It's just sad.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what? The hits that Isengard took are not great, but they're not terrible.
Yeah,
So-
I think that's totally fair.
I survived.
Moving into Gondor,
Mm-hmm.
Knight of the White Tower. I suppose I understand. I only play Gondor in the sense that I do the Battle of Fornos Legendary Legion, so I don't touch any of these people.
This is not really relevant to us. I have heard from some fiefdoms players, because it's interesting that they lumped in Men-at-Arms of the Lamroth under Gondor, because I guess they're Gondor, they're not Minas Tirith, but whatever. That the pike block that's presented by the Men-at-Arms of the Lamroth was one of the driving factors for fiefdoms armies. So I've heard that that's a pretty devastating hit.
Yeah, I think it's I'm happy that like all of fiefdoms didn't get cut.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they are actually heavily, profiled in the book.
Yeah, I just
That
feel
would
like
be shocking.
I just feel like they have given no love to those models. I feel like I rarely see them available, and no updates, no plastic models. They're like all metal, right?
Yeah,
Like-
except for the Rangers, who are really just Minas Tirith
Gondor
Rangers
Rangers,
on a
yeah.
different color. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do think we're in this renamed, repackaged. I do like that they are still putting these out, just removing the one model that they're removing from it.
Sure. Yeah.
Did we
Maybe
get
they'll
in-
drop the price too.
Oh yeah, it probably will, even if it's
Yeah.
like $5.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. I went and I looked at. Maybe I'm just wrong about this, and this is like my, what is it? Conspiracy theory brain. But like, I went and looked at the named Ringwraith models, and I feel like they shot up in price after
Yeah.
this release.
Yeah, they're because now they have a website for some, not all of these models listed for you to like buy them, like your last chance to get them before their legacy.
Yeah.
And the price of them is crazy.
Yeah. Like the Quest of the Ring Bearer book is like $58.
Which
Yeah.
that's nuts. I'm buying it secondhand from a friend for 20.
Yeah.
So like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
that's
no,
crazy.
that's fucking insane.
And we already have the PDF too. I'm just doing it for posterity, and I like to
just to have it, hold it.
Exactly.
I get it. They're also, for some reason, just getting rid of the Ammon Hin head, just because they felt like it, I guess.
And I just made that terrain piece, and part of me is like, I could get a couple of those before they go. But then it's like, if you can 3D print a head and just scale it up and cut it in half and put it on the ground, like that's the same thing.
Yeah, it's
so,
the same thing. But
I digress. That's a whole thing.
Into the Misty Mountains, which is none of the Eagles. No worries there.
Yep.
But it's all
like,
Moria.
It's all Moria, which is like such an incredible like red herring title. It's like
Yeah,
Misty
I know.
Mountains. Everything under the mountains.
Exactly. I was like, when I saw Misty Mountains, I was like, really? They're getting rid of the Eagles? That's fucking crazy. But no, it's the goblins, which like getting rid of Dweller is kind of sad because he's kind of like your glass cannon unit. That's kind of just really fun. And all of the Moria Black Shield units, which really kind of gave Moria like a buff that they kind of needed. And they're also super prominent in the Legendary Legion that is what is that called? I don't remember what it's
Drums in the Deep, or I have no idea.
It's something like that. It's the Moria Legendary Legion where you have the Balrog, but you can take regular Moria goblins and you can take Black Shield goblins, and they're just so much better. And their drum is better. I found this surprising that they're getting rid of this whole faction, especially because they sell them in like one set as like all of the Black Shield units.
I guess if you want to play chaff Moria, you gotta get just crappy goblins.
Yeah, I guess so.
Crappy regular goblins.
Going into the Elven Kingdoms,
Dude, Rivendell took some hits.
It did. It really did. I can understand and get behind the twins, Glorfindel and Elrond, just auto having armor, because you take them with armor when you take them. Like, getting the +2 defense to all of them is like so necessary that, and like Glorfindel's armor is like half the reason you take him.
Oh yeah.
So like, I can understand that and I can get behind that. Getting rid of Gildor and Arrestor is mad crazy.
Yeah, I as a big Quest of the Ring Bearer fan, like it makes me sad that Gildor's not there, but like I don't play Rivendell and he's only in the book. And albeit pretty briefly near the beginning of Fellowship. So like and frankly, I'm just using him for Quest of the Ring Bearer. That's literally the only reason I have this model. So like, I'm not particularly hurt by it, but I'm sure other people are like,
I mean,
that's my favorite guy.
I think he's really cool because he brings the same utility that Malhern does to Rivendell, which gives you Wood Elves with 8-inch movement. It changes how you can form and play Rivendell. I think that's really interesting. And Arrestor is another one of those like midpoint value, very good heroes. And so I just think that that's wild that they're taking him out of the game. Or at least, we've been saying this whole time, take them out of the game. It's like going to Legacies, but like...
Which, like, it's still in the game, and most TOs are not going to, like, kick your army out of lists for consideration, but you might not be able to buy them if you're interested in getting them.
Right.
So that's where the big hit comes in.
Yeah, it's still pretty rough. Rivendell took some hits. I don't think anyone uses a Stormcaller.
They are actually possibly the worst caster.
They're so bad. So that one, like, whatever. Cool, I guess.
Can't believe it lasted this long, frankly.
Truly. Yeah. They needed a refresh there. Enter Rohan. This is where I've seen some of the most upset.
Yeah.
is getting rid of Grimbold and Helminga's command.
Yeah. Erkenbrand too.
Yes.
He was nasty.
Yeah.
Errol the Young, nasty.
All of these, the King's Huntsman, kind of a cool little profile. Like, he's a minor hero, but if he if he wounds or kills a monster, he like gets a might back. Like, it's just a neat little profile. So I don't know. That was a weird one.
Yeah.
Rohan Outriders also provided some good utility that I just recently learned about. Is that they can get they can use the standfast of any hero just regardless of distance. So like they're
really?
Yeah, that's their special rule. So they're like objective holders. Like,
dude, I didn't know that. That's
they're
cool.
pretty crazy. That's this model featured here.
Damn.
So yeah, just like little utility things I feel like they've taken out from the game.
Wow.
I just think that's really interesting.
They are dumbing it down.
Yeah. But this is another one where they're releasing the commanders again, just without the King's Huntsman.
Yeah. You could proxy your huntsman as like cool archers. Or
I could just proxy him as just any other archer, but
yeah.
It's like I'm not upset that I won't be able to use the model, I guess, because I will. I'll just use it for something else. Yeah, the profile was cool. Like, I don't know, it's just a neat little guy.
So true.
Then into like Dwarven Moria. Dwarven Moria got just fully shafted and
absolutely gutted.
Like this has to be super hard for you because.
Well, okay, it's tough. It's my first army, right?
Yeah.
And I do have Balin, and really they've just made it so there's only one named hero, and that is Durin.
Yeah.
That's who you can bring. So like, I'll proxy my Balin as Durin.
Sure.
It's like that's not Balin anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gone.
No, he's fucking gone.
But like, dude, losing King's Champion is actually devastating.
I find that to be crazy.
That's like one of the best hero models in the game, point for point value, with the two shield dudes that he runs with that increases defense
and that have banners. Like,
yes,
like it's a wild unit that they're just like whatever.
For like what 140 points, it was so good.
Yeah.
When I did have the opportunity to use it, but like, yeah, if they don't, and this is copium, I readily admit it.
Okay.
I am hoping that they are going to rework Khazad-dûm. I'm hoping that is why they are gutting it, is so that they can add some new stuff. And I don't know anything about licensing. I don't know anything about Rings of Power. I don't know blah, 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 blah,
yeah,
but,
sure.
I'm just
lots of caveats.
Yeah, so all the caveats. I have my Dwarf Warriors. I've got Gimli, and I've got now Durin, not Balin, scoped out for Khazad-dûm. So we'll see what happens. But
yeah,
R.I.P.
I think there's gonna be some people. I don't think there's gonna be many, but I think there's gonna be some people that are super sad about Flowey being gone.
Flowey's ability is actually one of a kind and super cracked for removing active abilities. Like that's crazy.
It's actually insane. I'm sure there are going to be people that are rejoicing at the fact that that's not going to be a thing.
True.
But I do find it like I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too hard about it, and obviously I haven't seen any of the new profiles, so I have no idea what like the new stuff is going to be, but it feels like they're just taking a lot of the like little unique things out and throwing them in Legacies.
I agree.
I think early on in the process of them talking about this like new edition, they were talking about making the rules easier. And I think this might be part of it, is like getting rid of some of the people that have the weird 30 FAQ questions about and just being like, we don't want to worry about this right now. But I do hope that they revamp Khazad-dûm, because it's a very cool army. And
not competitive, but it is cool.
But that's the other thing, is that like
sure.
I wish that Khazad-dûm was competitive, because they are cool. Like the models are literally cool. So I don't know. This one had my heart racing for a second because I am like just now getting into Rangers and Dunedain. But it's just that they're being renamed or repackaged. I don't know exactly what that means. Like, I don't know if they're just gonna get rid of, like, make them kind of like one unit, because they only have, the only difference between Rangers of the North and Dunedain is that Rangers of the North have one more defense. They're D5 instead of D4.
It's interesting that they just say that they're being renamed or repackaged without providing context on it, because on other ones they've said, like, removes this model or, like, change the name to this.
Yes.
So, like, could this be something new?
It could be. And they, like, you know, with the Rise of Angmar book, they did, like, Airthorn Stand. They recast more Airthorn and Halbrad models, which Ian got me for my birthday, actually. But yeah, I'm hoping that the Rangers get a little bit of love, because they're another one of those armies. Well, not as much so, but they're another one where it's like they have 3 unit types and they're like a block set of points, and they're hard to fit into numbers. They're a little easier because they're lower points, even though they're like just a set number of points. But still, I'm excited to see what it is. I just wish there was a little more context here.
Yeah, me too.
Then we get into the Free Peoples, and it looks like the only hit to the Shire is Bandabrass.
Which is nuts. That of all of the army lists that have heroes,
Just
there are so many heroes that could have been dropped.
I know,
for the
like
Hobbits.
that's surprising to me. I was like, I really thought that, like, maybe Fatty Bulger would be gone. I thought maybe Lobelia would be gone. Like, no, just Bandabrass. Like, fuck that guy
old.
specifically.
He's gone.
Yeah.
That one Hobbit.
And then the thing
yeah,
that
no, you go.
I was gonna say, the thing that right at the end makes me the most hopeful for the new edition is them saying they've renamed or repackaged Quickbeam. They're calling him Birch Seed, and that's how he's gonna be. This gives me so much excitement, because I, like, as someone who loves playing as the Ents, they're so hard to play as an army and to bring to tournaments, because there's, like, no versatility to them whatsoever. It's Treebeard, Birchseed now, and Beachbone, and Ents. And they're, like, all of the models are over 100 points. So, like, super rough bringing them. So I'm really hoping that they're, like, maybe introducing Hurons, or
That'd be so good.
That'd be so good. Or there was, like, years ago, there was, like, a magazine that was released for this game, I think, and in it they had the Ents where they were, like, a lower point value, but then you added what kind of tree they were, like if they were oak or birch or something, and that gave them different abilities, like one more attack or one more defense, but, like, you made them modular so that you could change the points up and, like, fit into an army list better.
I do wonder, I hope that's the case. I do wonder if that is too complicated.
Yeah,
for
I think it might
how
be.
they're approaching the new one. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that I voiced that and it's completely wrong. But
yeah, well, that's my like far off hope. My first hope is that there's just, like, more versatility, like Hurons being a thing. That would be really cool.
Yeah, the Hurons would be so badass. And I think that talking about Banderbrass Took being the only Hobbit to leave is a good segue into talking about surprisingly untouched models, or how did these not get impacted? Because I think what the first model that came to mind to me, that I think a lot of people would say they weren't in the freaking movie or the book, Dragon Emperor.
Yes,
that's
100%, 100%. I was thinking about it too, or Rutabi. Like, these are like, but this is where I was gonna say, I think that, like, how Minas Tirith got a hit and like Rohan got hits. It's like there's so many profiles for those.
Sure.
There's not a ton for Easterlings. Like Dragon Emperor is the only hero of legend.
That's true.
So
Omdur's only Valor?
yeah.
Oh.
So it's like I get it. I'm like, why the fuck is the Dragon Emperor still here? I think it's because they put so much time and work into him recently.
I guess that's true.
I don't know.
Conversely, another example of models that should have been included in this, Wozes?
Yeah, Moses. What the fuck? Why? Who? I know one person that has Wozes, and I think it's taken him years to collect official models
like 10
for
to
them.
15. Yeah.
And like, why the fuck are they here? Why are they?
Why are they still included? Like Mauher can't stay, but the Wozes are good.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
I don't know. I'm wondering if this is just a preamble. That's not the right word, but like just kind of showing their ideas of what's to come. Like I'm wondering if they will remove those or move them to Legacies or something, but they just haven't said that yet.
Yeah. Could be.
I can't imagine a ton more getting the axe because this was a lot. Like this was a lot of models.
Yeah. Imagine we wake up tomorrow. It's like, sir, a third MESBG update has hit the website.
Yeah, that'd be insane if they did a 3-peat.
My God, that'd be nuts. Well, I'm grateful that, and this is a bit of a spoiler for a video that's going to come out way later, like next year, is that a secret army that I'm working on was not impacted by this, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm quite pleased.
Yeah. I'm very hopeful and glad for that too.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that was the update. There's a lot to take in.
It really was. It was huge, and I'd love to see everyone's opinions and infighting in the comments. That'd be great.
Yeah, tell me why Grima deserves to be on horse.
Yeah, tell me why Tom Bombadil and Goldberry deserve to still be in the game.
Yeah, for real. Barlam and Butterburst still standing strong too.
Oh my God, true. I didn't even consider that.
He's serving brewskis and cheese all day long.
He's vital to the game.
Yep. Also, dragons and cave drakes for Moria.
True. Those are still kicking.
Most importantly, Bill the Pony.
Bill the Pony absolutely deserves to be in this game, and I would be so mad if they got rid of Bill.
Actually devastated. Yeah, that would cause a riot.
But yeah, if you like this style of video, this is the first one that we've done like this.
Yeah, and we have been working on other videos for y'all.
We have.
But it's been a big year for both of us outside of MESBG. Unfortunately, we're not all Conquest creators.
Yeah,
I know. We wish we could do this full time. But yeah, we do have a lot on the docket for y'all. And if you do like this style of video, let us know. And frankly, I had a lot of fun, so we might just keep doing it anyway, regardless of your feedback.
Yeah.
But if you do like it, let us know.
Yeah, we'd love to know. But until then, thanks for being our friends and allies, and we'll talk to you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.